This is an interesting one because to me they are quite rare. I know a couple of them in person, and their dressing style really depends on whether or not fashion has somehow weaved into something that is practical, or is like something that there's an objective of them dressing in a particular way. Because for INTPs, among all the intellectual types, which is alongside your INTJ, ENTJ, and ENTP, INTP, they have the nickname of engineer, the brainiac. You would assume that their stereotypical style would be that very geeky looking, bookworm, that kind of academia look. I would say almost arrogant looking, because they look so studious and they look so, when they actually speak, it can be quite blunt and direct. And because of their cognitive function, this is not obviously to bash them or whatever, but because extroverted feeling is lower in their cognitive function, therefore being very socially aware or knowing when to say the right thing to make people feel good is not going to be automatically there for them. It's not natural for them. I think when it comes to dressing wise, a couple of clients who are INTPs, I have validated it. It's a very interesting experience when I was doing styling session with them, because they have very interesting things to say about the fashion items that are being presented to them. Like even a piece of a like minimalist t-shirt without much to it, they will somehow find something about it, or they will ask questions that are very unusual. Like for example, oh, the t-shirt, do you know why it's actually round neck? What is actually the first t-shirt design that was ever introduced to the world? Is it like round neck? So INTPs, the engineer, the brainiac, they are tricky because I think most of the time they will come off pretty casual. I think they would know how to appear more smart casual without going over the top, without looking too fashionable or too stylish. I don't think that's something that they would steer towards. Because of their cognitive function, TINE in their first and second function, essentially what it means is that they are always trying to seek for truth. It's subjective logic. It is always trying to find out what makes sense. Not necessarily practical, but what makes logical sense to them. Trying to figure things out, but then it's because it's coupled with extroverted intuition, which is NE, which makes them like really this walking, I want to call it walking encyclopedia, but that was actually a stereotype on ISTJs as well. They are one of those types that would actually have very broad interests, like they know things, because NE causes them to, which is the exploration function, it causes them to think of possibilities, think about things that probably are not connected and tries to connect them. Therefore, all this novelty or maybe new theories, new ideas, new concept could be something that they're very much into, or they're just in general interested about knowing things. And then, which is the TI, makes it appear like their fashion style, it can be a little bit offbeat, a little bit quirky. The whole purpose of this video is honestly me giving my professional take, or even my own opinion about what I really think of the INTP style. I will use some celebrities' images who are typed as INTP just to give you some insights. Probably you can relate this to your own wardrobe if you're an INTP watching this. And then at least this is actually a good idea, because I can actually punctuate or make my personal style even more obvious. So basically speaking, wearing your personality type through fashion, it is an art form. Or it could be, if you're not an INTP, or maybe you're wondering if you're an INTP, the typical dressing sense of an INTP could help you add in a little bit more point, knowing that, oh, okay, you know what, because my dressing style is kind of like that, this is my fashion or shopping motivation, I could be an INTP or maybe I'm not. I don't know if you can really use this to type people, but I have done it quite a fair bit. Sometimes, I think this is also coupled with the fact that I study quite a lot about depth psychology, not just MBTI, understanding the archetypes, and of course going through a lot of the contents from C.S. Joseph has gotten me to a stage where whenever I meet someone, in the first few seconds, I would already be able to narrow down, okay, not as expert as him yet, but will be able to narrow down more or less it's either one of these two types based on their interaction style. So that's been quite fun. And then when you add it together with fashion knowledge, our fashion choices, the clothing styles that we are inclined to, our preferences, it can be influenced by nature, which is your cognitive function. It can also be influenced by nurture, because your upbringing, your environment, what you have gone through as a person. You could be influenced in high school to be liking a certain style, and maybe there's like nostalgia to it. There's a lot to play. I've always seen fashion as a tool, not just superficial, but it can also give you insights to a person's deeper self. Let's go back into the INTP style critique. Okay, so I will start off with the men INTP, the famous people that are typed as INTP. The first one is actually Elon Musk. I've always thought that Elon Musk is an INTJ because for many reasons. I think obviously I'm being swayed by what was portrayed on social media, and before knowing how to properly type someone, pretty obvious to me that he would be INT, but whether it's a J or P, it wasn't something that I really deep dive into. Although there are a lot of people out there still debating and still thinking that Elon Musk is actually INTJ. But for the sake of this video, I think I'm going to go with INTP because of his fashion sense. Not to say that he wouldn't come off as an INTJ in terms of his dressing style, but the more and more I analyze his photos on what he wears, he tends to have this don't really care vibes, a little bit sloppy. Okay, no offense, INTP, but to be honest, most of you're not aware of like how to look proper in front of the camera, and you just don't have that instant sense of actually what makes you look good. Sorry to say, I know I'm stereotyping, but INTPs out there, if you're extremely fashionable and you have gotten a lot of compliments on your looks, please just let me know in the comment section below. But majority of the INTPs, specifically I'm referring to Elon Musk now and his dressing style, he's always in some kind of like weird graphic t-shirts. When you go online and search for images of what Elon Musk will be wearing, the first few images that comes up are really all those event photos where he looks extremely polished, he's in a tuxedo, it looks super luxurious, super well defined, but obviously he's bloody rich. He has a team of people that is helping him to look good. If you really want to analyze people's personal style, you shouldn't just base it off event photos. Some people are just not aware of that. Is that obviously if you look at certain pictures, they are obviously attending an event, so somebody is in charge or has influence in the way they dress. There's a stylist, there is someone behind it making sure that this very important person looks good for TV, for camera and so on. And what I like to look out for is really even videos, interviews, or especially unflattering photos of them outside when they go for shopping. You know those paparazzi pictures where they don't know that people actually spotted them. Maybe it's just his look, right? Like he looks like that person that will sit in front of his computer all day decoding or analyzing video games, something like that. Okay, this is, yeah, my MBTI trainer is not going to be very happy with the fact that I'm stereotyping all the way right now, but I just want to check out some photos where he's attempting to wear this grey oversized t-shirt. What's that handkerchief there? Honestly, I'm not bashing it. I love the fact that he is trying to be creative. This is what he thinks looks good on him. It's better than looking average and boring. At least he's trying to put on something that would represent his individuality, like trying to add a bit of style to a rather regular outfit. And then of course you have this prim and proper suit and tie. He probably custom made the suit so it looks super well on him. Other than that, you really just see him in this graphic t-shirt, bomber jacket, jeans kind of guy, something very practical, prioritizing comfort obviously, and doesn't think too much about the color coordination, whether it suits his body shape, or whether like he's gonna attempt to, oh, you know what, because I'm wearing like a brown belt, I'm gonna match it with a brown shoe. Like, it's not to the extent. Okay, another famous person typed as INTP is actually MrBeast. I don't know if you guys are aware of him, but if you're watching YouTube, I think you should be aware. MrBeast is actually an American YouTuber. I think he is one of the most, his net worth $100 million. He has a lot of super engaging YouTube videos. If you don't know him, I'll be very surprised because you're actually watching YouTube. Yeah, so his style, okay, it's very much like the clients that I've styled who are also INTPs. Love gaming, love things that are super fun, super quirky in life. They love animes, cartoons. It's like in their arena. But of course, these people are one of the smartest when you have conversations with them, because they really share with you how they have digested and analyzed all the information about a certain topic, which you can learn a lot of things from this type. Okay, never mind. Let's focus on the MrBeast fashion. I don't think I'll be able to find much about this because is he a celebrity? When I Google MrBeast fashion, all I can see is, yeah, a very stereotypical INTP t-shirt, like a fan club merchandise sweater that is of its own graphic print. They pretty much look like a grown-up person who is still enjoying their teenage life, which is not wrong. Like I said, this is what makes them look like this really interesting hybrid of very intellectual, smart, but at the same time quirky and fun, which is totally unpredictable. Alright, the stereotypical INTP men, what would they wear? The glasses is really just pushing it. Having a pair, like wearing glasses already makes you super intellectual, and sometimes it can really be a bit intimidating. It's just hard for many people to relate, especially maybe if you're an INTP who's trying to get into sales or marketing, or like you want to be that person that everybody opens up to, that you can connect, and then your social skills obviously needs to be there, and therefore I think you would need to adapt at some point when it comes to your dressing sense. I mean, there's no wrong being who you are and wearing who you are, but there will be time when, you know, situation calls you for looking maybe a little bit more professional. Then probably the INTP would suffer a little bit. It depends. Or maybe INTP ends up actually in the corporate world, and then maybe it's having a position where people expect them to appear a certain way, maybe more prim and proper, and then they still go for things that they think it's quirky for them, that defines their personal style, which may not go towards creating the right impression, especially trying to look professional or very competent. Actually, I would take that back. They do look very competent. If you're an INTP that dresses a lot in minimalist style, everything it's very toned down, monotonous, not a lot of details, it's very straightforward, and then you really focus on the things that you say, how you present yourself, it can be very refined. I would totally put them in that kind of almost tech looking, monotonous, all grey, spacey, futuristic almost kind of ensemble. Okay, now moving on to the female INTPs. Why do I say female when it sounds like an animal? Going to the ladies side, the INTP, I don't know if INTP ladies are rare. Are they? Let me know. I don't remember my stats. I know that INTJ women, J men, are quite rare, and also lately ENTJ, if I got my stats correctly. Okay, before I digress again, going back to ladies INTP, what would they wear? Okay, so I have Meg White from the White Stripes. The White Stripes, at one point of time, they are super famous. Looking at her fashion sense, okay, let's see, Meg White, I think she's quite peculiar too. She reminds me of Bjork. B-J-O-R-K. Maybe Bjork is INTP. I'll find it out in a while. But Meg White, if you look at You try to search for the things that she normally wears. It's pretty basic, straightforward, a little bit quirky. I don't know how to explain this to you, but they have a very unusual way of matching their casual pieces. Like, they are not over the top, but they will wear it in a way where it's really simple, casual, nothing too dramatic. It's not something that you will remember her for, but it's almost, yeah. Okay, obviously my camera died, so I'm gonna continue where I left off. Hopefully the footage didn't get deleted too much. I was talking about Meg White from the White Stripes. INTP, oh yeah, I was trying to find out if Bjork is an INTP, but I need time to validate many things, but it seems that the community thinks that she's an INFP. So, but I think, okay, it's just in general, what do I really think of INTP style and what we can learn from it? What do I like about it? What can they improve? I think their style, which is pretty minimalistic, maybe can be a little bit too cold. It can be good for those of you who have a personality where you are very out there, you are always talking, always sharing your ideas, you are known to be like the social butterfly. You're just full of energy and enthusiasm, and sometimes it can drain people. So if you have this very extroverted kind of persona where you can overwhelm certain kind of people, especially the introverts, and so it might be helpful for you to try to emulate the INTP style through their more refined, minimalistic kind of dressing style. Because, to be honest, I'm actually referring to MBTI types like ENTP, ENFP, maybe ESTPs, who are a little bit more out there. When you also wear very outward, extroverted looking clothes on the outside, you might appear too intense, and maybe people just really get drained by you. But some people get recharged by you because they love that burst of energy. So you can try to kind of balance it in that manner, which is something that I always talk about, where if you already know that you have a RBF face, where you look very intimidating, when you don't smile, it's very difficult for people to open up to you. Then even more, you should steer away from wearing too many of those like darker colors or anything that makes you look too empowered, because anything that's too much power, it can be quite a bad thing, because then people will obviously be afraid of you. Now the pot is calling the kettle black, because that is also me. The thing about INTP is that because they're so pared back, nonchalant, I wouldn't use the word refined, really depends. They have this intellectual, tech geek, minimalistic style, but also has a bit of that fun element, which is where their graphic tee comes in. But be a little bit careful though. This is my advice to INTPs. I have worked with INTP clients, like I said, who are still in that zone where they appreciate all the really quirky, fun elements in life, and they try to express it through their dressing style. Like, for example, if they have a game character that they really, if they don't mind wearing t-shirts that is all about it, but just maybe do it very moderately and be very strategic on the times that you want to be yourself. Be very careful on the moments where you want to wear as yourself, because sometimes it might be that either you appear too cold to some people because you're too minimalistic, too refined, or because you have this very quirky side of you, people will think that you're actually not that competent, or you're not serious, or you're not professional, and then this is where people will start questioning your competence and your professionalism. So there are certain clothing styles that appear more formal, could be something that you need to compromise and then adopt. It will help you to get through certain things in life. For example, if you are a very smart INTP, you want to pitch a business idea to someone, just throwing out examples out there, you can't be wearing like your favorite cartoon character sweater top, unless you're already MrBeast. And I think one of the most stereotypical image that I have in my mind about INTP is that they have this like mock neck or turtleneck outfit, very smart academia, and then they would have their books and then their glasses. It's, yeah, and the part where, because they are like TINE, and then they are very careful with the things that they say, and then they would like to analyze things. It's just very, like, it's perfect if you're a finance person. It's perfect if this look is on like people who does property or like does financial advisory. Then people will be like, this guy. Okay guys, I hope that you enjoyed this video. At least you find it useful. If you're INTP, let me know what I've shared. Does it make sense? Is it relatable? Do you not agree? Let me know. It'd be very fun for me to learn too. And yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.